Telephone Tales by Gianni Rodari, illustrated by Valerio Vidali. The Comic Strip Mouse. A comic strip mouse, tired of living in the pages of a newspaper, and eager to replace the flavor of paper with the taste of cheese, took a great leap and found himself in the world of flesh and blood mice. "Squash!" he exclaimed immediately, catching a whiff of the scent of a cat. "Beg your pardon?" whispered the other mice, intimidated by that strange new word. "Sploom bang gulp!" said the little mouse, who spoke only the language of comic strips. "He must be Turkish," ventured an old mouse who had traveled on freight ships and had worked the shipping routes of the Mediterranean before his retirement. But when he tried to speak to the mouse in Turkish, the comic strip mouse just looked at him in astonishment and said, "Zip, fish, bonk." "He's not Turkish," concluded the seafaring mouse. "But then, what is he?" "Beats me." So they started calling him Beat Smee, and they treated him more or less like the village idiot. "Hey, Beat Smee," they'd say. "Which kind of cheese do you like best? Parmesan or Swiss?" "Split, grand, easier," the comic strip mouse replied. "Oh, good grief," laughed the other mice. The littlest mice even pulled his tail on purpose to hear him object in that funny way of his. "Zoom, splash, squarr." Once they all went hunting for food in a flour mill full of sacks of white flour and cornmeal. The mice sank their teeth into that manna from heaven and chewed vigorously, making the sounds of crick-crack, just like all normal mice when they chew. But the comic strip mouse went, "Croak, shrouk, shrouk." "At least you could try to eat like a civilized mouse," grumbled the seafaring mouse. "If we were aboard a freighter, you'd already have been thrown overboard. Whether or not you realize it, you make quite a disgusting noise." "Cring," said the comic strip mouse, and he dove back into a bag of corn. With that, the seafaring mouse gestured discreetly to the others, and they very quietly tiptoed away, abandoning the stranger to his fate, certain that he'd never find his way back home. For a while, the mouse went on chewing. By the time he finally realized he was alone, it was too dark to find his way back, so he decided to spend the night in the mill. He was just about to fall asleep when, there in the darkness, 2 yellow spotlights blinked on, followed by the sinister rustling of 4 predatory paws. A cat. "Squash!" said the comic strip mouse with a shudder. Replied the cat. Horrors! It was a comic strip cat! The tribe of real cats had kicked him out because he didn't know how to say meow like a proper cat. The 2 misfits embraced, swearing undying friendship, and they spent the rest of the night conversing in the strange language of comic strips. They understood each other to perfection.